Hi, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to the Scene Snobs Network. But I'm not here to talk to you about the Scene Snobs. I'm here to talk to you about Max and Jason, Three Geeks Podcast. You will probably tune into the Three Geeks Podcast and be like, 1, 2, 3. Okay, well, there's obviously more than 3. There's like 89 million of us. We started with 3. We're like gremlins. We just keep multiplying.
Yeah, they fed us at midnight. They poured some water on us. And now it's like 78 geeks. But you can be a geek too.
If you like comedy, which we sometimes do, if you like hearing about movies, TV shows, you like hearing hot takes from Max and John, you like hearing somebody who loves most things, but when I get mad about a show, it's pretty entertaining, I gotta say. But no, we're the Three Geeks Podcast. We're just a group of friends that don't talk to each other through the week so we can have natural conversations on Sunday.
Yep.
We're like actually probably the worst group of friends because we don't ever talk to each other outside of doing podcasts. I mean, except for you and I, but that's because we're roommates. But, like Three Geeks Podcast. Tune in, check us out.
And have fun.
Yes.
Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe.
Yeah. And recycle your droids.
Hey everyone, it's John Orlando from the PVD Cast, and I wanted to take a few moments of your time to let you know where you can find the PVD Cast. The online home of yours truly, PVDcast.com, is a great place to go, but it's also available through all the major podcasting platforms like Apple Podcasts, Stitcher Radio, Spotify, etc. There's also live broadcasts of the PVD Cast every single week. Mondays 8 p.m. Eastern through the Facebook page of the PVD Cast, and Tuesdays at 7:30 p.m. through the Scene Snobs Facebook page. And no matter how you listen, please make sure you rate, review, and subscribe. And with that, I will chat at each and every one of you later.
What's up, everybody? It's Mick Manhattan, and this is the Scene Snobs channel. I am bringing to you every Monday the replay marathon, where we show all of last week's shows right in sequential order down the line. You can watch them all throughout the Monday and stay entertained. So make sure you're checking us out on the Facebook page every Monday, starting at 9 a.m. All right, thanks, everybody. And if you missed any of the shows, make sure you head over to thescenesnobs.com, where we have links to everything. Take care.
What's going on, everybody? It's the Scene Snob, Mick Manhattan, and I'm here to tell you guys about thescenesnobs.com. We're a channel of variety, comedy, entertainment, geek-related, sports, the whole 9 yards. We cover almost every genre. And we have so many great shows to choose from. We have shows like the Scene Snobs Podcast, BTB Podcast, The Guapo Show, the Sports Snobs Podcast, the PVD Cast, Jeff Dwoskin presents Crossing the Streams, the Three Geeks Podcast, the Fandom Effect. We probably have the only Matlock-based podcast called Matt Talk, and we're introducing new shows all the time. We have new shows coming up like the Ear Hustling Podcast, Carpool Shenanigans, and of course, From Some Nobodies, Twitching Upstream, and Talking Upstream. So come on, check out thescenesnobs.com, enjoy it, and please leave feedback. Like, follow, subscribe us, and just let us know what you think. We love to have all the interaction. So I, again, am the Scene Snob, Mick Manhattan. Check out thescenesnobs.com. You can follow us anywhere on social media at The Scene Snob, and we will talk to you guys soon. Take care.
Hey, everybody, it's CJ Graham, Jason Voorhees. That's right, Friday the 13th, Part 6, and you're listening to thescenesnobs.com.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Sports Snobs. I'm Pat. He's Kaz. Check us out on thescenesnobs.com. Check us out on YouTube.
Did you really set a timer for 5 seconds?
Yeah.
You are, oh my God. I got to find the new host.
I got to be exact. Everything's exact. It's a science. It makes for beautiful production. Mike would agree. But yeah, so check us out on thescenesnobs.com or listen wherever you get your podcast. Check us out on YouTube if you prefer to watch. Brian is now sponsored by the Bruce Arians official wardrobe He's got a new, I don't know what you call, what is it called? What type of hat is this?
The brand is called, I don't want to give out the brand.
Not the brand. What kind of hat is it? Is there a name?
It was called a Scally hat. I don't know.
A Scally hat. Okay. I respect it. But yeah, check us out on YouTube if you want to see Brian's Scally collection. He's got a new one this week, it seems. But
this was a Christmas present from my son.
Wow.
He has a matching one.
He went shopping all by himself, huh?
He did. Drove there and everything.
Jeez.
Yeah, thank God the cops didn't catch him.
Smart kid, talented kid. Sheesh. Surprised you're the dad.
We're still waiting on the DNA test for that.
It's taken an awful long time. Well, kind of not too much going on this week because football rules the world, obviously, and no football this weekend. But we could certainly take a look back at the past week. But I think the first thing that kind of stands out in my mind, which has kind of saturated the radio and ESPN over the last few days, especially, is the whole Deshaun Watson fiasco. He's pulling the James Harden here. And I'm not sure if we briefly talked about it last week, how the NFL players are starting to catch on and do what the NBA players are doing. But now it seems he's for whatever it's worth, officially requested a trade. So now essentially the Texans are handcuffed. Do they ignore him and say, we'll pay you a guaranteed $70 million over the next 5 years, and you're just not going to play, and we're going to torture you by not allowing you to play for another team? Or do they do what the Rockets did and they deal him away? And I'm on the fence here how I feel about it. I for one, obviously I know the Texans are a terrible organization. Granted, they're the newest NFL franchise, but they've been perennially they've been pretty bad, right? They've had maybe 2 or 3 decent seasons. So I get where he's coming from, being a superstar and them trading away DeAndre Hopkins and just not being great talent developers, producers. But you got your guaranteed money literally, and you got this contract in September. Like what could have possibly changed over the last 4 months, right? That all of a sudden it's like, I can't be around this place. I can't be around this team. It doesn't make sense to me.
What happened was Hopkins killed him. That was one of his very good friends, great player, and you got nothing back in return. Then you have all those things that came out about the owner. Then he says, okay, here are 3 candidates. I'm not just saying you have to hire one of these 3 candidates for a GM. I'd like you to interview them. And they go, you know what? Screw you. We're not going to interview any of them. And we're going to hire this random dude that nobody knows. Then the coach, they didn't even listen to any of the options that he had for coaches. He wanted Eric, which I don't know how Eric Bieniemy doesn't have a head coaching job. I don't know if he sucks at interviews, but from his performance, he should definitely have one. And they weren't going to interview him. Then all of a sudden, Deshaun Watson's like, you know what? I want out of here. And that's when they go, oh, we'll throw Eric Bieniemy a bone and we'll interview him. And they don't hire him. So, yeah, he asked for a trade. But the difference between like the NBA and the NFL is if he sits out for the year, that contract year stays with Houston. So, yeah, sit out a year. But what does Houston get if they let him sit out? They have a pick. I don't even think they have a first-round pick. They don't. They traded it to the Dolphins. So you're not getting a replacement. Deshaun Watson has made it public that he wants to go. So what free agent quarterback is going to be like, why does Deshaun Watson want to leave and I want to go there? Do you have the cap room to sign a quarterback? Because while he may sit out, that's still on your cap. You don't have to pay him, but it's on your cap because he could come back week 4. So it's a very difficult situation. I don't see this as a James Harden situation because Deshaun Watson was pissed off when they traded Hopkins. He didn't go out there and tank. He threw for over 4,000 yards. He played phenomenal with the wide receivers he had. And he played hard every down. He played it the way he should, whereas Harden was just like, oh, I'm just going to act like I'm playing to force a trade. So while I hated Harden for how he handled it, I don't blame Hopkins for his decision. But Houston's in a bad spot because of no trade clause. So, they could get a great haul from, let's say, Jacksonville. Number 1 pick. They get, I don't even know who else Jacksonville has because that's how bad they are. But, they could get a great haul. They could get the next 6 first-round picks from Jacksonville, which will most likely all be top 10. And he could just be like, nope, I don't want to play there. So it's looking like it's Dolphins or Jets. That's what it's looking like. Those are the best options of what the Texans can get and where he might want to play. The Jets, apparently he wants to play in New York. I don't think they have enough talent around him, but they have cap space. The Dolphins, they have some decent talent. They got a good defense. They got a good line. They got, I don't want them to give up both first-round picks because I want a running back or a wide receiver to help out. But if I had to give up Tua, the number 3 and number 18 to get Deshaun Watson for 5 years, I'm doing it.
Agreed with all your latter points. One point I will make, though, is that DeAndre Hopkins actually got traded before he signed his contract. So if you were that frustrated and you didn't like how that went down, then wouldn't you have, I get it. It's all, you got to take your money when it comes, like when it's there. I respect that. But it just seems kind of messed up that you take all that money and then 4 months later you're like, I'm good. It just puts the organization in a bad spot.
You don't know what they told him behind the scenes to why they traded Hopkins. We traded Hopkins so that you could get your money. That was one of the rumors. They couldn't pay Hopkins and Deshaun Watson.
Who else are they paying on that team? There's nobody else.
JJ Watt.
Besides that, I couldn't even think of like many like all pro type players that would warrant like $15+ million a year. Honestly. It's like they like recycle players. They're like the bad Patriots, right? Brandon Cooks, Randall Cobb. Like they get all these players kind of in the back half of their career. I don't know.
But I can see. Okay, you did one move. You explained it to me, right? I'm sure you did a million bad things to your wife, and she's still with you.
Yeah.
So yeah. But you do one bad thing. And you talk it out, and you're like, "Oh, okay. Unpack your bags. I'll fix it. I'll get you some talent. I'll do this. I'll do that." Then the things of the owner comes out. Then the things like they say you're going to be involved in a GM search, and they don't even listen to you. And it's like, oh, okay. Am I now the battered wife who just keeps on going back to these people that promise me everything and do nothing, or do I say, I want out and pack your bags and actually leave the door?
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens here. I would imagine they would be trading him. That's tough to sit on that much money, especially when you're 4-12 last season. So clearly you're not going to be better just by having him on your bench. There's just no room to pay any other talented players. So,
and you gave up your future for Laramie Tunsil.
Yeah, that's not looking too good. And if they end up trading him to the Dolphins, then it all just looks absolutely terrible. But so aside from the Dolphins, the Jets are, I don't know how what makes him think that he could come to the Jets and be more content with your organization than he is with Houston. Like, unless it's completely toxic in Houston and the Jets are just terrible, not necessarily toxic. I guess
he likes the new coach. He likes the new coach. And think about Deshaun Watson in New York. The press he would get, the publicity, the endorsements, all of that he would get in New York. The head coach is key. That was a great hire. And that's why I think he wants to go there, is for those two reasons.
I think if Deshaun Watson goes to the Dolphins, though, I think let's put it this way. If Deshaun Watson was on the Dolphins this past year, I don't think the Bills win the AFC East. I think the Dolphins win at least 2 or 3 more games just because of him and the talent that he has. Because they won games with Tua throwing for like 80 yards and then Fitzpatrick coming in relief. Imagine you had an all-pro quarterback, top 5 in the league easily, right? And he's mobile, can run the ball. He's just dynamic playmaker. Imagine that on the Dolphins. Like, I feel like the smart move for him from a career longevity perspective and success perspective is the Dolphins. I feel like that's, especially now with the Patriots down, like there's no better time to get an extra leg up on them. If you're with the Jets, I don't think you win. I don't know. I mean, they're not going to win more than like 6 games with him unless they get a ton more talent.
They have the cap space to do it.
They got to spend it wisely.
Have the cap space to get it. And think about it. If you're a wide receiver, mid-level, I'm not talking top wide receiver. You're a mid-level wide receiver, and they say, do you want to come to New York to play with Deshaun Watson? You're going. You're going.
For sure. But then you got to pay that person.
Right, but they have, I think it's like $66 million in cap space before any other moves that they might release a player, they might do anything like that. So they got the cap space, and everybody, from what I'm hearing, everybody in the league loves the coach they just hired. So you might have people that'll knock down the door to play for him. You might have veteran players that might say, I want to, especially on defense, that might say, I want to play for this guy. I'll take a little bit of a discount because you got Watson on the other side of the ball.
Yeah. So I'm looking at the top available free agent wide receivers for 2021. And it's not bad. I wasn't, it's okay. Allen Robinson, who is just, he's been on the Jaguars who were terrible. And then he's on the Bears who terrible. So who knows? Allen Robinson could be the best receiver in the league and we don't even know it yet. Right. So that's a good one of the Jets could pull off. Then you have Chris Godwin, who the Bucs are going to have a hard time re-signing him if they're going to pay any of their other wide receivers. Plus, I don't think they even really need him. And then you have Juju, Kenny Golladay, Will Fuller, who could follow him to New York, and then Marvin Jones Jr. is the other one here, who's I guess more notable. So, I mean they could do something. I guess you can get Allen Robinson and maybe draft a wide receiver in the second round or something, but they still need a running game. I don't know. It's going to be a struggle for the next 2 years at least. So I just don't know if he wants to. You already struggled with the Texans for how many years? Made the playoffs last year, so that's great. But aside from that, like you've just been struggling. I don't know. To me, I would want to go to a team I know I can win. Like you will make the playoffs next year, guaranteed. If you're on the Dolphins,
I see. The only thing that I'm going to say, and as a Dolphins fan, it hurts me to say this. Next year, the AFC East might be the best conference because it looks like Deshaun Watson is either going to the Jets or the Dolphins. New England is going to get somebody. They're going to get somebody. And it's going to be the Bills, New England, and whoever gets Watson battling it out. And whoever doesn't get Watson is in the basement.
Yeah, so that's a good point. So the Patriots could end up with they could end up with Matthew Stafford potentially. It's not a foregone conclusion. I mean that would be. I feel like it's almost the perfect fit for both, for the Patriots and for Matt Stafford, and that's a little different because they've kind of mutually agreed. The lines are basically saying, "We suck, we failed you, we're going to trade you," essentially, and he's like, "I'm good with that. Let's move on." So a little different from Deshaun Watson. That's going to be huge. I think Matt Stafford is completely underrated just because he's been part of another terrible organization, probably easily worse than the Texans, and they've just been bad for how long now? I mean, early 2000s, they might have had a couple of good seasons, and then they've just been in the dumps of that division. So that's going to be an interesting one to watch.
The whole quarterback market this year is going to be interesting. What does Indianapolis do? What happens to Goff? What happens to Wentz and/or Jalen Hurts? Garoppolo. People are talking they're getting rid of Garoppolo. Dak Prescott. What happens with him? It's going to be a very interesting quarterback market this year.
Yeah, I don't think what we're going to see, I don't think we've ever seen before as far as like back to like Tom Brady going to the Buccaneers last year, Matt Stafford potentially on the move, Deshaun Watson, Aaron Rodgers, who the hell knows? I don't believe it, but I wouldn't be shocked.
What happens with him?
Drew Brees, well, he may retire. If not, I don't think anyone, I don't know who would.
Nobody would take him, but if he retires, are you really wanting Jameis Winston, who, by the way, I heard today might go to the Patriots, and Taysom Hill? Like, is that who you really want there?
I don't know what the Patriots are doing. I really don't. I don't see that one. I could imagine Deshaun Watson in New Orleans. I mean, that would just be absurd. That team would be.
New Orleans doesn't have the cap space for it.
No, but hypothetical. I mean, just playing the hypothetical game. I mean, if they cleared, I don't know. That would be crazy. But
imagine Deshaun Watson in Denver with those wide receivers.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I think to your first point stands the strongest here is that he wants to go to a market that's at least decent. Like New York, obviously, tons of opportunities for different things outside of football. Miami, not New York, obviously, but still a big city. Denver,
I think he wants to go to a coach that he respects, and I think that Flores and Salah, I hope I said his name right. I think those are two coaches he really respects, and I think that that's what he wants. I actually think he wants a defensive coach, so that he can do his thing on offense and kind of mold the offense. But he wants somebody who's hard-nosed and tough, and somebody who he can trust, because Bill O'Brien he couldn't trust. This new coach and GM he couldn't trust. Ownership he couldn't trust. So I think he wants a comfortable place. Does he want to win? Absolutely. Does Denver give him that? I don't think so. They got a great offense, but I don't think so. The other big thing is what they're talking about is in Texas, you don't pay income tax. So, yeah, you signed a big deal, but you go to New York, that tax is a little higher, so the pocket's a little smaller.
Which is why you go to Miami. Same thing. He wouldn't. Nothing would be changing. There's no state income tax there either. So, that's a big one.
Let's hope.
That could hit the pockets pretty steeply. But I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, I mean, good timing for this all right? The 2 weeks preceding the Super Bowl, essentially, got some news to talk about. But on the note of the Super Bowl, yeah, I mean, we could briefly talk about last week because mainly because my picks. I have to brag again on my picks. Yeah, absolutely killing it. Oh, there it is. You got the Smirnoff cucumber and lime or whatever it is. Beautiful, beautiful. So I think what was it? I was up 2.
You're up 4 now.
And then I got the 3 and you got the 1. So I'm shocked. I'm shocked at how bad the Bills played. It was for Championship Sunday, and that being the second game, I would have much rather that be the first game. And I know they can't obviously assume what's going to happen, but man, that was a huge letdown. The Bills just looked like they didn't belong. They looked like they should have been eliminated. They probably should have been eliminated by the Colts, but that was a sad performance by Josh Allen and the Bills.
Do you think it was the Bills, or do you think the Chiefs are finally ramping up? Because it's not like I don't think the Bills looked horrible. I just think they were outmatched, and that's two different things. It's not like Green Bay. Green Bay looked horrible.
Yeah, I mean anybody's going to be outmatched, but they were up 9. I mean they scored the first 9 points of the game.
Did they give up a touchdown with 6 seconds left in the first half because they went man to man?
Yeah, that looked like a play right out of Greg Williams' play sheet for the Jets. When I was watching that play, there was 6 seconds. And I was like, all right, they're going to run the quick 5-yard out, get an extra 5-6 yards for their kicker. And then you see Brady not even looking at the sideline. And in my head, I'm like, what the hell are they doing? And it's like slow motion. It wasn't
even a slant and go.
No, he just
flat out fly route.
And he was like, he set like he was going to take off. He should have known he didn't stop. It was literally a streak. There was no hesitation. And in my head, I'm like, why is Brady not looking to the sideline? There's 3 seconds. I'm like, even if you complete this pass, you're not going to kick the field goal. And then he unloads. And I'm like, what the hell are they doing? Then you see freaking Scotty Miller down there haul it in. And I'm like, what? What is
over the top? You're playing underneath coverage on a guy who all he does is run fly routes.
Yeah, that's the game. I mean, right there, that changes everything. I mean, they came out flat and they played terrible in the first half in general, but that put them behind. I'm surprised they actually came back. Tom Brady basically threw 3 punt-like interceptions, just tossing the ball up there 40 yards to Mike Evans, who probably could have caught at least one of them. But tale of 2 halves, but they were able to hold on. The PI call, I think that's legit. I don't know why people are complaining. I get the point that they're not.
I disagree with the non-PI call on the interception that allowed them to get that 6-second pass. There was definitely a hold there. Definitely a hold.
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, the refs were letting them play, and then at the end of the game, there's a blatant PI. So, I mean, what are you going to do? You have to call it. His shirt was literally pulled like 3 yards behind him. But the Bucs were the better team. So this is an exciting.
I disagree. Really? I think the Packers were the better team. I think overall they played better. They had 3 mistakes. 4 mistakes. They had the end of the first half. They had Breeze. Why the hell aren't you running it into the end zone on that 3rd down? It was wide open. I know you're not 20 anymore. I know you're not. Run it. Get to the 2. Get to the 3. Don't throw it cross your body into triple coverage. Don't do that. You're smarter than that. And then the coach going, oh, we'll kick it and we'll give it to Tom Brady because we have 3 timeouts left. But all he has to do is get 1 first down to win the game.
That never makes sense, especially when you have to score the touchdown no matter what. Like you make it a 5-point game, you still have to go all the way down the field and score. So I understand your defense is playing well, but this is Tom Brady. And I mean, you can't just judge them on the last few drives, right? The first half they dominated you. What made you think that you could confidently say,
well, the Green Bay's defense? The drive before that, didn't he go down for a field goal?
Yeah. So at the end of the day, I don't know how no one checks him on this and it says, wait, Matt, dude, we've been around here a little bit longer than you are. I know you're like 28 years old, but we should probably go over the touchdown here because we're going to need it on the next drive. It made no sense. Granted, they almost stopped them, but still, it's just why leave it up to that? Why not let Aaron Rodgers win you the game or tie you the game at least? At that point,
conversion, the touchdown before. Why are you going for that? Kick the field goal.
Yeah,
come on.
There's a lot of I don't know. That kills good teams in the playoffs. It's just bad coaching. We see it every year. There's always at least one game where you're like, what were you thinking? Like you're this close. You've been going forward on 4th down all year long, putting the ball in Aaron Rodgers' hand, and all of a sudden you say, let's play it a little conservative.
But on the 4th down play, if Rodgers runs that 3rd down play, now you're at worst from the 4-yard line. I believe he would have scored.
Yeah, he would have.
Maybe the 2-yard line because he's slow, old, whatever. But now you're fourth and goal from the 2, you're probably going to go. After you just saw Aaron Rodgers throw that horrible crossbody pass when he could have got positive yards, that may have factored into the coach's decision. I don't agree with it, but that's what I'm saying.
But the main problem here, which I mean, we don't have that much insight. I guess no one's come out and said it, but like, did he know that they were going to kick the field goal, or did he run the play on third down? Not literally run it, but like, did the play take place on third down in Aaron Rodgers' mind of, okay, well, I have another opportunity after this.
It doesn't matter. He
might see he has room to run, right? In his head, he might say, I know I have this next down. This is Devontae Adams. Like, let me get the ball to him. I don't know. I'm just saying
why
that makes a big difference.
Why wouldn't you call the Devontae Adams play on third down? So
I don't know.
Here's the thing, right? If I see, even if I think I have fourth down, if I know I could get positive yards instead of throwing it crossbody practically on the ground in double, triple coverage, even if I know I have fourth down, I'm running. Now, if I knew that we were going for the field goal, I'm absolutely running.
I mean, I don't know. I guess we'll never know 100% what's going on in their heads. But
I'd rather a 4-yard fade than a 12-yard fade.
Or throw the ball to somebody else besides Devontae. Like, the defense knows what's coming. He's double covered. He's triple covered. He's running crossing route. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Use him as exactly that, a distraction, a decoy. Get the ball to Tanyan. Get the ball to Valdez-Scantling.
If he's doubled from the 4-yard line, let's say Aaron Rodgers gets to the 4-yard line. He's doubled in man coverage. That's when you run that little pick play with him for Scantling, for Tanyan, for whoever, because now there's 2 defenders on him that he doesn't have to hit the defender. The defender got to run around 3 players.
Yeah. Or roll Rodgers out. Something creative. It just, I don't know.
They rolled him out in third down. And he decided
get out. He's like the play the previous week when he pump faked, he got the guy off his feet and ran it right in. I'm talking roll it all the way to the sideline. Get everyone running that way. That way, I guess you're more inclined to run if you see the pylon there, as opposed to going potentially head on with, I don't know who the defender was, but probably a linebacker. I don't know.
No, there was no linebacker in there. There was 2 cornerbacks that were the only 2 that may have been able to hit him.
I don't know. Well, in any event, the result of that obviously is Patrick Mahomes versus Tom Brady, and it's early. I think the line started at like 3 or 3.5, something like that.
Started at 3. It's at 3.5 now.
Yeah, which is, I mean, it's not going to sway much one way or the other. I could see it getting as low as 2.5, and then maybe as high as 3.5, staying at 3.5. But
listen, somebody today bet $2.5 million on the Bucks, and it didn't drop the line. So if anything, the line is going to go up for the Chiefs. I see it going to 4 for the Chiefs. That's what I see.
That's a good number to have. I can see the Bucks covering that. Based on this past week, my gut would tell me that the Buccaneers should win, just based on how they come out in the Super Bowl. Now, the Chiefs are notorious, given last Super Bowl as another example, for letting teams get ahead and then coming back into the game. But the Bucs defense it's impressive.
Have they done that this playoff? They have not done that this playoff. They did it in the regular season. This playoff, they're just rolling over teams.
Yeah. I mean, down 9 against the Bills. I don't know if you count that as like a major comeback. It's essentially 1 score, right?
No, that was a stupid McCole Hardman fumble.
And then he comes back and gets like a 60-yard reception. So, yeah, I mean, they're dangerous. But I think if the Bucs if they get up first and they're going up 2 scores, 10 points at least, it's not. I think it's a different type of game, because I think you have, even as a defender, even as a defender on the Bucs, I feel like when you see Tom Brady on your sideline, knowing he's already won 6 Super Bowls, I feel like it's just a different standard that mentally you're not going to let up on defense. And Todd Bowles is doing a hell of a job with that defense.
So here's my question. Actually, 2 questions. How much were they up at halftime against Green Bay?
I don't know. At least 2 scores, right?
Yeah. Is Kansas City's offense better or worse than Green Bay's?
It's better, obviously.
Rest my case.
Yeah, but I mean, it's different when you're playing in Green Bay as opposed to just Tampa Bay.
Fans?
No, just temperature. It's a whole different feel.
You're telling me that Kansas City can't play in Tampa Bay?
No. I'm saying that the Bucs, well, obviously, there's some home field advantage here. It's literally their field. Like, it may only be a 1 or 2 point home field advantage, however, like the people do it in Vegas. But I'm just saying there is a subtle home field advantage to that. So if they get up early, especially with Tom Brady on your sideline, some sort of home field advantage. It's the Super Bowl. That defense was really getting after it with Aaron Rodgers. And Patrick Mahomes, I mean, he looked okay, obviously. He didn't play lights out. I mean, there was a lot of design that got him out of the pocket, got players open. I mean, between Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill, he completed, that was like 80% of his passes, right? I think he had like 12 to Kelce and then 100.
Why wouldn't
No, I listen, I agree with the game plan. I'm just saying if the Bucs are able to get after Mahomes, it could be a long night for him. I don't know. I expect something similar to last year's Super Bowl, honestly. I think the 49ers are similar.
Mahomes is not like getting after Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, but I trust Todd Bowles, I think. He's pulled it off this far. I don't know what he did with the Jets a couple of years ago, but as a defensive coordinator, you got to respect it.
I just feel like you bring that pressure up the middle. Yes, the Chiefs have their backup tackles in, but
that's a good call.
You bring that pressure up the middle, he's going to roll out. I mean, he has, like most elite quarterbacks, they have one throwing motion. This dude can throw it from any angle, any position, any footwork.
We'll see. I mean, it's going to be a hell of a game. The storyline is perfect. The greatest of all time, potentially, against the future. Who could replace him as the greatest of all time? Who knows? I mean, if Mahomes wins this one, I mean, I feel like he's already in the Hall of Fame. Like it's crazy to say that, but it's just he's been that good, and to win 2 Super Bowls potentially in your first 4 years as a starter, that's insane. That I don't think it's ever happened. Besides Brady.
Maybe Steve Young? I don't know.
Maybe. We'll have to hit the history books for that one. Not sure. But I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. Right now I'm leaning Bucks. I'll be honest. And we gotta figure out.
You're tipping your hand.
Oh, I'm tipping my hand for sure. We gotta figure out these prop bets too. We gotta start looking into them this week.
Hey, they come out around like Wednesday, so we'll talk about that.
Are we doing coin toss or we're just doing like on the field stuff?
Anything.
How long the national anthem is.
Yeah, you could pick any of them. That's why
color of the Gatorade
style.
Yeah, we'll see. Moving on. So the Nets. Speaking of Deshaun Watson going to New York, James Harden going to New York. The Nets look like they actually might have
both from H-Town. Both from H-Town.
Yeah, and it looks like they figured it out. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. But they're putting up like 90 points a night. James Harden had like 16 assists the other night, which is just absurd. I mean, I respect that. He's obviously not known for his passing. Although last year he actually played really well in that role. But I mean, Kyrie, Kevin Durant, and James Harden, they're all putting up 30, sharing the ball. Poor Joe Harris, he lost his 3-point streak at like 81 games or something like that. I mean, if I'm him, I'm pissed, right? Because the dude was getting like 6 or 7 threes a game, and now he's getting like 2 or 3 looks. It's unfortunate, but they're rolling. The Knicks, not so much. They've kind of hit a wall. Your Lakers, they lost an ugly game yesterday to the Pistons, I think.
Yep.
I don't know. I mean, obviously they're still a solid team in the West. But one thing that aggravates me is this whole like load management thing. I get it for Kevin Durant, But this Kawhi Leonard stuff is absurd. The fact that this guy has like preset days off, it annoys the hell out of me.
Well, this last one was for COVID.
The last one was for COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But just in general, it's not just him, but just generally speaking, like when you think of load management in the NBA, you think of Kawhi Leonard. And I don't get it. Like, what? I don't understand why you can't just play. LeBron James played how many games last year? How many months of basketball? And granted, Kawhi Leonard was there.
Bad knees. He doesn't have a bad back. He doesn't have those things. I get load management.
Because you're old.
Do I like it? Do I like it? No, but I get it as a tactic. And do I want my player to get hurt more? You don't know behind the scenes what Kawhi's knees look like after a game. It might not be an injury, but he might have arthritis in his knees. He might have that stuff in his knees. So if you're a coach and you're like, listen, I'm going to give you this day off, especially this season when the games are a lot closer together and you don't have it, your typical 2 days off. You're like almost back to backs. I get it. I do get it for a player that's injured. But do I respect a player like LeBron? And I'm not a big LeBron fan. Trust me, I'm not. Even though I'm a Lakers fan, I'm not a big LeBron fan. But a player like LeBron who's like, no, I want to play every day, I respect that more. But a player who might need that to get to the postseason, I can respect the coach's decision.
Yeah, then why can't they just say that? Like, just because then everyone just has to speculate, especially when it's a preset day off, right? I get the arthritis. If that's the case, then I understand. But why not just say, like, we rest Kawhi Leonard every fifth game because he's got a chronic condition with his knees? They don't say anything. It's just the fans get annoyed. You watch all week the promos saying, oh, catch Kawhi Leonard and the Clippers go up against LeBron James and Lakers. And then it's like, nope, just kidding. You can catch Kawhi Leonard sitting on the bench not playing.
The reason why is the same reason why you put an NFL quarterback as a questionable to play. So now you have to game plan versus either quarterback. So you're not going to say 5 days in advance, 6 days in advance, Kawhi's out. You're not going to say that because then, okay, now we could shift our defense and now all we got to do is run a one high zone against Kyrie and Durant.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, different team, but you know what I'm saying.
No, I get it. I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I'm not a fan of it. It just adds to what we talked about last week and how the NBA is just, it's becoming kind of it's just its own type of sport now. It's just the players run the league completely. Every night there's someone taking off. I mean, granted, not thankfully, but I guess with COVID, it's not as big of an issue. But if there's fans going to a game, I mean, I feel bad for those fans, especially in those markets that pay $300 for 2 seats, and they're sitting up in the 400 section like that.
What about somebody that bets the game today?
That's true.
The game's tomorrow, and all of a sudden,
absolutely. I mean,
and it started with Popovich. It started with Popovich and the Spurs.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. The NBA is losing me. I'm still gonna watch because I'm a sucker and I just like sports, but it's getting to a point where it's silly now. It's just a bunch of drama, people creating their own teams. I don't know. And then you got Shaq and a fool over there saying all this stupid stuff on television about Donovan Mitchell. Shaq, I don't know. How do you feel about Shaq? As were you a true Lakers fan through the Shaq and Kobe years? Like, what are your thoughts on Shaq then, and then what are your thoughts on Shaq now? Because I respect the guy because he gets his money. He does all these commercials and all this other stuff. He's got a freaking doctorate. Then he says this stupid stuff, and I'm like, dude, just go away. Just take some time off.
See, I liked Shaq before the Lakers. I liked him back when it was him and Penny in Orlando. I liked him when he was at LSU. I personally like somebody that speaks their mind and owns it. Like, you won't hear Shaq ever apologizing for it. He owns it. He says it. He owns it. Dude, that's what you pay a commentator for, to say what they say. Do I agree with all his comments? No. But you know when Shaq says something, he's saying it from the heart. He's not just saying it to create controversy, to get his name in the news, to do any of that. He's doing it because that was on the tip of his tongue. And I respect that. Do I agree with everything he says or half of the things he says? No. But I like that.
To each their own, I suppose. Barkley, I love Barkley. Barkley's my guy.
Barkley says crazier stuff than Shaq.
Yeah, but you know when you're listening to him that it's just like, dude, you're an idiot. Like, you're just saying this. With Shaq, it's like he's so serious with the stuff he says. It's like, you can't even tell when he's potentially just joking or if he's speaking his mind, as you put it. I'm just saying. That's how I feel. I'm not a big Shaq guy right now.
That's very fair, but I would say that Barkley seems like the one who's off his rocker most of the time.
He certainly is off his rocker.
Shaq, when he says stuff, I might not agree with it, but he actually backs it up with some type of insight where you're like, I can see your point of view.
Yeah, I suppose. Like I said, to each their own. But we'll see what goes on with more of the Shaq drama. Speaking of drama, though, we got to talk about Conor McGregor, right? I mean,
why? He's done. He's done and over with.
You bought that fight, right? You paid for that. I
absolutely did. I loved every minute of it.
Did you? I guess the undercard was decent because that fight, I didn't expect to know the result before I went to sleep, and he gets knocked out in the second round. I was like, oh, okay. Dude is done. Dude is absolutely done.
Let's just say there's one thing I am not happy about with that fight is I bet the first two undercard fights. I'm not a big bettor. It's like $10 and I do a parlay. Won $120. Awesome. Go to bet the next fight. I'm like, you know what? I'm up. Let me take this one off. That fight won. Every bet I was going to make, except for one, the whole night, won. Then it was the co-main event and the main event. And I was going to bet both underdogs, Chandler and Poirier. And I'm like, you know what? And I will show you the text. I texted one of my friends. I'm like, hey, I'm about to put $50 because I'm up 120 on Chandler and Poirier. It's plus 763. And he's like, do it. You have to do it. And then like I'm sitting there like, you know what? I'd rather be up 120 than just 70. So I'll just watch. And I would have won a lot of money if I would have done that. So yes.
Oh my nuts.
What was that?
I don't know. I guess he's Mike trying to tell you something.
That's yeah. But I have to say Chandler looks good, man.
Yeah.
He looks good. And he called out everybody in the division after he won. And I didn't want Conor to win, so obviously it was a good fight for me because he didn't win.
Yeah, I can't stand him. You are the Kyrie of sports betting. Love it. Love it. Spot on. But yeah, I mean, McGregor, he has to retire at this point, right? I mean, what's the you couldn't even take like what would the next fight be that you could possibly come back with, right? I mean,
so he's talking. He wants Poirier.
So stupid. I hate when they do that.
He wants the trilogy. The only fight I can see them making for him is a Nate Diaz fight for the trilogy, because both of them are both kind of on the outs. Just end the trilogy, end both of their careers, and that's it.
I don't know. I'm sick of them. It's time for some new faces in UFC.
They got him. They got some young, good fighters in there, man.
Yeah, but I mean, they got to get on the level of like a Conor McGregor or a Khabib, someone who you don't have to be like a follower of the sport to know, right? You'll just know. You say Khabib to anyone, they'll know who he is, or Conor McGregor. You can't say like Chandler. People like, oh, you're talking about Friends, the show Friends. Like, they're not going to know these people. They got to make a name for themselves.
But that's the thing, is that the UFC now is going to start pushing these younger fighters. They put, like Conor, you didn't have to push Conor. Conor made his own headlines. But a Poirier, you got to start pushing him. You got to push a Chandler. You got to push these other fighters, like in your promos and all this other stuff. A Ferguson's on the back end of his career, but he's still fighting well. But it's the UFC has to get that marketing out there to get it done, because Ronda Rousey and Conor McGregor, they made their own headlines, right? Chuck Liddell made his own headlines. Rampage Jackson made his own headlines. It's, you got to start pushing that side 100%. Of it and get that marketing out there.
I mean, speaking for those who are not avid followers or watchers of it, I mean, I was watching a couple, more fights in the last couple of years prior to this year when there was a Khabib, when McGregor was fighting, when there were the more notable names. But now, I mean, I don't know these people. It's hard for me to. I mean, I love a good knockout here and there, but I mean, it's hard for me to really like get into it and follow it, as opposed to just, let's throw it on or let's purchase this one just to watch. So,
but here's a question for you: Do you know more? Do you know more UFC?
Good for them for, I guess, potentially being able to move on without McGregor and have some new names in there. Speaking of old names, though, on a different on the opposite end here, I forget what we were talking about a while ago. Some sort of boxing topic, and I have to bring this up because to me it's hilarious.
Because once he gets rolling downhill, he is an avalanche, and he is going to destroy you. And he put it on.
Place your bets, right?
I'm sorry. What? The clip killed me.
Can't hear you.
You can't hear me? Can you hear me?
On my end. I don't know what's going on here. Little technical difficulties.
Did you see the clip that Mike just played?
I did.
Oh, what was that all about?
Well, McGregor getting knocked out.
Yeah.
What do you mean? He's late to the phone. He's got the 25-second delay. It's like the
do it.
Oh, my nuts.
What's
talking about? Oh, my nuts.
We were having a great show until all of a sudden, I don't know.
That's my favorite thing about Kyrie Irving, I will say. I liked him when he was Uncle Drew. Aside from that, I can't stand the guy. But hey, what I was saying was, real quick, Manny Pacquiao apparently is getting another fight soon. I forget what we were talking about a while ago, and I was like, oh, this person should fight Manny Pacquiao. And you were like, Manny Pacquiao's like 85 years old, blah, blah, blah. And look at that. Manny Pacquiao is going to fight again. I don't know who he's fighting, but I heard his name pop up.
It's probably Logan Paul, Jake Paul, one of them.
No, he's fighting somebody. I don't know who that person is, though, that he's fighting, actually. That guy's annoying. Maybe you should fight him.
Pacquiao?
No, Jake Paul.
You're out your mind, dude.
Why? You kind of look like him.
You're not. I am pretty sexy like him. I should start up my own TikTok page. That's what
Jesus, help us, please. Oh, my God.
So,
TikTok.
College basketball.
What is there to talk about? More COVID?
No. What do you think about the possibility of March Madness not having Duke, Kentucky, or North Carolina?
I love it. I'll sign up for it every year. Can't stand them. Tired of them.
You can't stand them, but if you're the NCAA, how are you getting viewers? How are you getting
people?
You're allowing people in it.
College basketball, it doesn't matter who is playing in that tournament. It really doesn't. Everybody tunes in. There's fans of every college, right? They're out there. So you're going to get your viewers.
But you get your draw from those big name schools.
Well, yeah. But I mean, there's a lot of Big Ten teams that are playing really well. And then you got Gonzaga.
So you're a college basketball fan in a way, but your point about the UFC, for people that are casual fans of college basketball, they only know those big names.
But I couldn't even tell you those big names off of Duke this year, or off North Carolina, or off of Kentucky. I honestly couldn't, because A, their game is getting canceled every other week, or B, it's unwatchable at this point because you don't know when their schedule is actually going to stick.
I'm going to tell you one player that I watched twice this week, absolutely love, Jose Alvarado for Georgia Tech. He's a 6-foot guard. Dude plays like 46 36 out of 40 minutes a game.
Mm-hmm.
He plays almost every minute. 18 points, like 6 assists, but he's a scrappy little player. He is phenomenal. I love watching him. That's the type of player I love. And watch him, you'll become a Wake Forest fan. But Georgia Tech fan. I'm sorry. Georgia Tech fan.
Georgia Tech. I'll have to give them a tune in. We'll see. We'll see them in the conference. Are they even good? Is Georgia Tech any good this year?
Yeah. I think they're 7-3.
Okay, so we'll see them in the late into the conference championships at least.
If they have them.
Oh, they gotta have. If they can't have conference championships, how the hell are they gonna have a March Madness?
Well, what they're saying is you have to test negative for 7 days before you can go into the bubble. All of these conference championships are like up until the day before you go to the bubble. So there's a lot of teams saying we might not play the conference championship if we know we're in already.
Yeah, I did see that actually, because there's a lot of Big Ten teams that have no reason to play. Michigan, Iowa, a bunch of them that are just like, I'm good. I have nothing. What else do I need to really prove? Who cares if I'm a 3 seed or a 4 seed? It doesn't really matter, especially this year, because you don't know what's what.
What the hell is going on?
I think Mike is it's Friday night. He's had a couple.
Jeez.
He's taking shots with you. He took a shot for all the shots you took all season. I feel like that's his son. That's his sign. That's his way of saying shut up and wrap it up. Probably. I think.
Oh my nuts.
I don't know what's going on here.
Jesus.
I really have to watch this one. I'm not going to listen. I'm really going to watch this tomorrow to see how this all comes out. There it is.
Get off the pipe, Mike. Get off the pipe.
Oh God, I love it. I absolutely love it. All right, let's wrap this thing up, Mario. All right, so we got a show next week. Obviously, Super Bowl picks are going to be coming in. Some prop bets, obviously, and then who knows? You have some friends. I don't have many friends. You have some friends. You should invite them to the show. Get them in on some of the Super Bowl talk. I don't know if we have any Chiefs fan friends or Bucks fan friend. I don't think I have any.
I know other people on the Scene Snobs platform. They like sports, so maybe Mike will get some of those on for us, and we'll have a blowout next Friday.
It sounds weird, but if you want to end on that note, that's fine. That's fine by me. We'll have a blowout next Friday. What does that mean?
That's what you pick on. All these random clips that get in.
Oh my nuts.
I don't know why I'm finding it to be so funny. I really don't. But yes, that's what I pick on. Blowout. Yeah.
All right, live from the loop. The Sports Snobs.
Sports Snobs blowout. You can't say that. Come on now. It's the big game. It's the big game.
The big game blowout. See, that's why I said blowout. It flows. It flows.
Oh my God. All right. Let's wrap this baby up. So we got Super Bowl next week, picks. Yeah, we'll see. This is coming down to the wire. 3-point or 4-point lead rather. So anything's possible. And yeah, hopefully we have some guests, some special guests. And we will see you next Saturday, right? We're recording on Fridays, so this comes out on Saturdays. So we'll see everyone next Saturday. Check us out, thescenesnobs.com, or wherever you get your podcast, or check us out on YouTube to see Brian's big game blowout, whatever that means. Stay tuned.
Here is Sub-Zero. Now, Plane Zero.
Oh my God. They found me. I don't know how, but they found me.
Run for it, Marty!
Who? What do you think?
The Libyans!
Talking about. Oh my nuts.
The same.
And that's our show, everybody. Thanks for listening. I am Mick Manhattan, the Scene Snob. We always appreciate you guys tuning in and commenting along and everything else. Go check out this show or any of our other shows on thescenesnobs.com. Thescenesnobs.com. We love you. You guys are awesome. And if you would like, follow and subscribe to our social media. That really helps us go a long way. And please spread the word. Tell your friends. Have them come in. We love feedback and everything else. So everybody, you have a great day. Again, thanks for listening. Thescenesnobs.com. Take care, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.